I try not to think about it, how my life changed exactly a year ago. Sometimes, I still think in what ifs. What if war hadn't come to us? What if I could turn back time? What if everything remained the way that it was? But what ifs are best left as they are. There is no going back to that past life. The last memories I have of my life before were friends gathering in a cozy cabin in what seemed like a parking lot, and a honeymoon in the quiet suburbs of Kyiv. My sisters coming with a housewarming gift of fresh oranges, a home-cooked meal from 5,460 miles away, falling asleep next to a warm body, frozen in an everlasting embrace. On February 24, 2022, we woke up to the sound of explosions in the sky. The life we had before was gone. War had begun.
Шановні громадяни України, сьогодні вранці президент Путін оголосив проведення спеціальної військової операції на Донбасі. Росія здійснила удари по нашій військовій інфраструктурі та по нашим прикордонникам, прикордонним загонам. В багатьох містах України було чутно вибухи. Ми вводимо воєнний стан на всій території нашої держави.
It was unprovoked. But this is what Russian President Vladimir Putin unleashed on Ukraine.
Russia has invaded Ukraine by land, air and sea.
Explosions heard in the Ukrainian capital Kiev, as well as the eastern city of Kharkiv.
На Україну розпочалася о 5-й ранку.
Air raid sirens blare in Ukraine's capital.
Близько 5-ї ранку Росія йде війною на Україну.
As the sun came up this morning, a missile striking an industrial park in western Ukraine. A helicopter assault on an airport outside of Kiev. Close, intense fighting.
Ukrainian tanks and soldiers have been taking up positions on the streets of the eastern city of Mariupol.
The government encouraging all Ukrainians to take up arms and fight.
There are civilian casualties.
Dozens of people have been killed, many have been injured in large-scale air and ground assault by Russian forces.
Heartbreaking images of people bloodied, staggering out of their homes.
The UN says hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians are on the move trying to get to safety.
Roadways jammed and subway stations turned into bomb shelters.
Gunshots heard from a packed train platform in Kyiv. The screams of children piercing the air as families try to get out.
Thousands trying to flee the capital Kyiv, either stuck in gridlock or unable to fill their cars with the gas needed to get out.
These are among the darkest hours for Europe since the end of World War II.
So the bombs have started to land over Kyiv. We're walking to the metro as we speak because it's safer there. I can't talk much. We're in a rush, but I hope we will be safe. The metro's working, buses are working, everybody's just resuming their work. Yeah, everybody's a bit panicking and some are calm. I'll post more updates later. We're now underground.
Сьогодні від вас, від кожного з вас, потрібно спокій. По можливості залишайтесь, будь ласка, вдома. Ми працюємо. Армія працює. Працює весь сектор безпеки і оборони України. На зв'язку з вами буду постійно я, РНБО, Кабінет міністрів України. Незабаром я знов вийду на зв'язок. Без паніки, ми сильні, ми готові до всього. Ми всіх переможемо, бо ми – це Україна. Слава Україні!
So we're now buying supplies in case the grocery store shuts down. We're trying to stock up and not panic, to do the most rational things.
What the hell? It's working. With music.
Я приехала на сель пополужить мои деньги. Блаблакар 20 тысяч. It will be expensive to leave. I don't know what will happen. I don't know if there is God, but I hope that we will be safe. Давай, скоро буду, метро все они работают. Keep safe, my girls. I love you.
When I was in school, they told us to duck, cover, and hold when an earthquake strikes. In case of a fire, we were told to calmly fall into a single file and head to the nearest exit. But nobody ever told me what to do when bombs rain down from the sky and an aggressor state invades your home in your sleep.
So this is where we're sleeping today, seeking shelter and everything in our house's basement. Entire families, people are here. Quite scary actually. Bombs are getting closer and we heard gunshots too, so... So this is what we're gonna sleep at tonight.
With distant explosions. The constant sound of sirens. And fighter jets flying over our heads. I knew danger and death were lurking around the corner. The coming days would feel like a game of Russian roulette, with the Russians literally raining missiles on the Ukrainian capital, damaging residential areas, wounding and killing innocent civilians. On March 20, 2022, a missile struck Retroville shopping complex late at night, killing at least 8 people and reducing the retail center to smithereens. It was noted as one of the most devastating attacks on Kyiv by Russian terrorists since the invasion.
I still remember that day. The missile hit Retroville shopping center. We were living 1.5 kilometers away from it, and it's the closest I'd been to an attack by the Russian aggressors, and I will never forget it. I remember that evening we were actually huddled up in the covers deciding, because at that time we wanted a semblance of normalcy that we didn't get. And the next thing I know, the windows were shaking, and then came this that I still hear to this day. Every time I'm startled by a loud noise, I could still hear, and I could still feel the same fear. Sometimes I still hear the explosion in my head. When a neighbor drops something and you can hear it in the paper-thin walls. When a car door slams. I guess I'm never gonna get it out of my head. And I remember it's supposed to be the safest place in the entire apartment. Not knowing where to run or where to hide or what to do. I was asking, where are we gonna go? Run to the nearest bomb shelter? Do we stay here? Are there any more bombs? Am I going to die? Are we going to die? I ran for the bathtub. As I did that, I was holding myself, trying to calm myself down, but all I could ever do was cry and say the words, I don't want to die. I want to go home. I don't want to die. I want to go home. I don't want to die. I want to go home. And this is the reality of a lot of us living here in Ukraine. You could be living your normal life. You could be happy one moment, and the next thing you know, a bomb could land in your house. And you could lose everything. The home you've built or saved up for, the car you just bought, the job you had, the friends you made, the family you found, the family you have, your hopes, your dreams, your life, your plans. You could lose it all. As I went to bed, I remember lying awake thinking, if a bomb falls on our heads as we sleep, do we feel it? You know, I've been through a lot of things in my trip and I prepared for a lot of things to come, but nothing prepared me for this. Nothing prepared me for war.
Friends and family out of Ukraine begged me to flee. But what they didn't realize was that my entire life was here. And that I had an overwhelming urge to give back to the country that I've come to call home. Sitting in the basement, I thought, how could I turn my back on this? How could I turn my back on the country and the people that have taken me as one of their own? So I stayed back and watched. I watched everything change. I watched as the supplies dwindled in our supermarkets, as quick grocery runs turned into hours-long queues without any certainty that you'll get what you came for.
Привет. Сегодня мы были АТВ и Сельпо. Без туалетна бумажка. Блин. So, girls, buy your bумажка toilet, please.
I watched a city that was always so alive at night dim its lights and turn into an infinite inky sea as the 8 o'clock curfew plunged us in total darkness. I watched as families left the comfort of their homes to cower down basements, watching and waiting, hoping and praying. I watched the exodus of entities escaping the city, the endless sea of vehicles exiting Kyiv, the heart-wrenching farewells at the central train station, the long lines at the border, the tight embraces the women, the children, and the elderly have given to their husbands, to their fathers, to their partners, to their uncles, to their nephews, to their cousins, to their friends. I watched myself and those around me become accustomed to the deafening sound of sirens. I watched as text frequent "How are yous" and wait for any reply that meant proof of life. I watched us as we came to face with our new reality. My new reality.
Tonight, maybe we'll go to the Підвал again and then back to home when everything seems спокойно. Just wanted to give a quick update. I'm going home after buying some supplies from humanitarian aid. I just heard a car, like a race car sound. I thought it was sirens and I'm really freaked out. So as you can hear, there are sirens, but it's 3 weeks of the war and we've gotten used to it. Before February 24, 2022, war was just something I've read about in textbooks, something I learned from history lessons, something I've seen in films. And now, war is all around. A backpack sitting at the corridor stuffed with important things, sitting in the damp, dark basement waiting for clear skies, checking Telegram news channels from morning to midnight, offline and outdoor classes turned into sessions through the screen, time off work turned into purchasing and distributing goods for humanitarian aid, and one by one, all those dear to me, leaving, some going back to their hometowns after losing their main source of livelihood in the city, some heading to safer places where Russian forces cannot lay their hands on them, and some heroically picking up arms to defend their home. So I watched everything fall apart. The life that I built, the family I found, the friends I treasured, the love I shared, the home I finally had. Gone. It took me a while to accept our new reality. Many sleepless nights and weeping days taught me this war has permanently scarred us for life. War will always remain with us. When a car door slams, when we spot a plane in the sky, when we get another update of an attack, when a tank rolls in on one of those action films, and when we slowly inch upon February 24 of each year. Yes, there is no going back to that past life. The only thing we can do now is build a new one where we can find peace amidst chaos, life amidst death, joy amidst sorrow. A new life where we accept things as they are, but refuse to stay silent and go down without a fight. The pain I feel as a foreigner, caught in the crosshairs of the ongoing Russian invasion, does not compare to the pain of millions of Ukrainians who have lost their only homes, their schools, their universities, their jobs, their source of income, their workplaces, their entire cities, villages, or towns, their pets, their loved ones, their friends, their families, their hopes, their dreams, and their chance of living in their motherland peacefully. And while I may not be Ukrainian, I want to give back to the country that has sheltered me, to the country that has given me friends and family, to the country that has taught me to love and to be loved, to the country that has taken me as one of their own and gave me a home. And I encourage you to do the same. There are plenty of ways you can support Ukraine. Number 1, donate to the Ukrainian army. United 24 is President Volodymyr Zelensky's initiative that funnels contributions to enhance Ukraine's defense capability through weapons and tactical gear, and to support the mining work in mined territories. You can also donate to reputable Ukrainian organizations and individuals such as
Alternatively, you can also contribute to my blog's fundraiser. We used 100% of the proceeds to supply both humanitarian and medical aid to internally displaced Ukrainians and to residents of heavily bombarded and temporarily occupied areas in the country. Our main mode of contribution is through my PayPal account, but we also accept donations through other means such as direct bank transfer, Western Union, or MoneyGram. Since March 2022, we have been supplying medicine to our grandmas in the occupied city of Kherson. And we have also delivered aid to the regions of Chernihiv and Kharkiv. We have also sent out care packages for families who have fled to Western Ukraine. Number 2. Send aid to Ukraine. Ukrainian postal services such as Nova Poshta and Ukroposhta have resumed international delivery. Likewise, Ukrainian enterprises have launched a volunteer service center that can send aid from all over the world. If you are in an accessible country, consider purchasing and sending aid yourself. If you hear about individuals or groups sending aid or driving to the border to deliver these goods, pitch in and consider donating food, medicine, medical equipment, hygiene products, and other essentials. Number 3. Host refugees. As Ukrainians and third country nationals living in Ukraine continue to escape the war and flee to safer countries, you can provide homes and even food and living expenses to those who need them. Every country has different regulations for accommodating refugees fleeing the war, so make sure to check with your authorities about their official refugee programs. Besides this, you can get in touch with organizations that can assist you in hosting refugees. There are also plenty of Facebook groups such as Host a Sister, where you can get in touch with refugees who need shelter. Number 4. Join the Foreign Legion or volunteer as a medic. If you have military experience and the desire to fight in Ukraine's battlefronts, you can join Ukraine's Foreign Legion of Territorial Defense. You can get more details about this in your nearest Ukrainian embassy or consulate. Likewise, if you have experience in the medical field, you can come to Ukraine and volunteer as a medic. More details are available via the Ukrainian Ministry of Health. Number 5. Support Ukrainian brands. Here's a quick list of Ukrainian brands that I can recommend. There are plenty of Ukrainian brands operating under war conditions and delivering their products all over Ukraine and abroad. Ukrainian enterprises are struggling to maintain operations, save jobs, and pay workers' salaries. By supporting these local brands, you are also supporting the Ukrainian economy and introducing Ukrainian craftsmanship to the world. There are even brands that donate part of their earnings to the Ukrainian armed forces and to organizations that support Ukrainians affected by the war. So with every purchase you make with these brands, you are also donating to various sectors in the war-torn nation. This is the easiest way to invest in Ukraine and receive something in return. I also encourage you to boycott Russian brands and companies that have not withdrawn their operations in Russia. You can find a list of these enterprises at www.don'tfundwar.com or download the app Zrada, which allows you to scan goods and find out if the product you're buying funds Russian aggression. You can also easily determine whether or not the item you're buying is from Russia by checking the barcode. Russian products and exports have the numbers 460 to 469 in the beginning of the barcode. Number 6. Hire Ukrainians. As I've pointed out in the previous tip, Ukraine has a huge pool of talent. Hiring Ukrainians is a form of direct help, especially for fleeing Ukrainians who are forced to rebuild their entire lives from scratch. Of course, there are also Ukrainians who need employment without relocation. So if your company has any freelance opportunities, consider hiring Ukrainian remote workers. If you're in the academia, consider offering visiting fellowships and academic exchange opportunities to Ukrainian academics. Number 7. Preserve Ukrainian heritage. The genocide of Ukrainians is also the genocide of their art, their culture, their language, their traditions, their literature, their cuisine, and their history. With all of these under massive threat of the Russian invasion, another proactive thing you could do to help Ukraine is to dive deeper into Ukrainian heritage. Take time to learn more about Ukrainian culture. Paint pisanke, Ukrainian Easter eggs, or learn how to make a hearty bowl of borscht. Read the works of the famed poet and writer Taras Shevchenko. Pick up one Ukrainian phrase per day. Support Ukrainian artists or donate to organizations that focus on saving Ukrainian cultural heritage. Listen to Ukrainian songs or learn how to sing them. Read about the rich history of Ukraine and celebrate traditional Ukrainian holidays such as Ivana Kupala. Number 8. Join protests and appeal to your lawmakers. Take it to the streets to condemn the Russian invasion and Russian war crimes. Call for stronger military support from your government against the ongoing invasion. Taking part in a demonstration shows your solidarity for Ukraine and raises awareness about the horrors of the persisting war. It can move not only citizens, but also change makers to arm Ukraine, impose more sanctions, cut off Russia from the rest of the world, and to take further action against Russian aggression. Number 9. Spread the word. Social media can be a weapon of resistance. In this day and age, information war is being waged across social media. Sharing verified fact-based information about Russian aggression helps raise awareness to the situation in Ukraine and to Russian war crimes. When you share or publish posts, make sure to use the correct spelling and terms. For instance, Ukraine, not the Ukraine, Ukrainian-Russian war, not Ukrainian-Russian conflict or special military operation, and so on. This information is a tool of the aggressor, so be sure to share information that's credible and thoroughly verified. Another thing you can do is to amplify Ukrainian voices. There are so many Ukrainian content creators online who have their boots on the ground and are shedding light on life under Russian invasion, the atrocities committed by Russian forces, and the many ways you can support Ukraine. Here are some accounts I subscribe to and support. And last but not the least, know that every bit helps. You might feel embarrassed about donating a meager sum to the Ukrainian forces or feel like writing to your local lawmakers cannot instantly change the situation here in Ukraine. I just want you to know that it does. When collective efforts are combined, change is created. Every penny you donate, every small act of kindness you practice, every refugee you host, every Ukrainian word you learn, every petition you sign, every protest you attend, every bowl of borscht you make, every Ukrainian product you buy, every post you share on social media, all contribute to the victory of Ukraine.
Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video and for allowing me to share my story and for allowing me to keep talking about Ukraine. I hope you will continue to stand with us and support us in the work that we are doing here on the ground. In the coming weeks, I will be releasing photo and video content about how we purchase supplies and distribute humanitarian aid to our beneficiaries, which include citizens of heavily bombarded areas, residents of temporarily occupied territories, as well as internally displaced families who are affected by Russian terrorism. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button and follow me across my other adventures and advocacies and my other social media platforms. I'd like to end this video by praising Ukrainian bravery. Every single day, Ukraine defends its territories and its people. It is defending your homes, your families, your lives, your values, your freedom. Ukraine is the shield of Europe against the hunger of Russian imperialism, which will not stop at conquering its neighboring countries. Keep supporting Ukraine. And as always, Slava Ukraini!